Atlanta has always been the kind of city where whispers travel faster than sirens, and this time the whispers weren't just gossip, they were headlines. The fight that sent Scrappy to the hospital wasn't fading like the rest of Love and Hip Hop arguments. It wasn't a storyline people forgot after a few episodes. This one stuck, because Scrappy came out of that hospital bed with more than pain in his chest. He came out with a decision. For the first time in years, he wasn't going to let the cameras reduce his pain to entertainment. He was going to make someone answer for it. And that someone was Kirk Frost. The news broke like a bomb at sunrise. Every gossip blog had the headline plastered across their sites. Scrappy files lawsuit against Kirk Frost. Love and Hip Hop feud heads to court. Hashtags flooded the timelines. Scrappy vs. Kirk. Frost on trial. LHHATL justice. Clips of the fight replayed in slow motion. Fan accounts adding dramatic music. TikToks dissecting every shove and every insult. Scrappy's face, pale as he was rushed to the hospital, became a meme. And the comments? Thousands of fans divided down the middle. Some screaming, "Scrappy doing too much, it's just TV." Others rallying behind him. "He almost lost his life, Kirk needs to pay." Behind the scenes, Scrappy was quiet but focused. His family gathered around him, telling him to let it go, to focus on healing. But he shook his head. "Nah, I've been letting stuff slide my whole career. People think I'm just gonna take everything, play the fool. Not this time. Kirk put his hands on me and I ended up in the hospital. I'm pressing charges. I'm taking him to court." His tone wasn't angry. It was steady, chilling, the kind of determination that scared people because it wasn't heat-of-the-moment anger. It was cold, calculated resolve. Meanwhile, Kirk Frost sat in his house with Rasheeda, pacing like a man trying to convince himself of a lie. It wasn't that deep. We've been fighting for years, he just trying to make it bigger than it is. It's reality TV, they not gonna take it serious. But the look in Rasheeda's eyes told the truth. She wasn't convinced. She'd seen the fear in the hospital, heard Scrappy's words before he passed out. She'd seen Kirk push too far, too many times. And now, with cameras rolling and legal documents arriving at their door, she couldn't pretend it wasn't real. "Kirk," she whispered, "this ain't just TV no more. He really taking you to court? We can't spin this. You need to face it." When word spread to the rest of the cast, the reactions were instant and raw. Yandy Smith was the first to speak out, posting a cryptic message on Instagram. "At some point, enough is enough." Violence ain't entertainment. Fans instantly assumed she was siding with Scrappy. And when Mendeecees Harris co-signed with a comment, "Facts," the narrative started shifting. Suddenly, it wasn't just about two men fighting. It was about accountability. Young Jock, on the other hand, tried to play neutral, telling Vlad TV in a messy interview, "Man, it's crazy. I was right there, I seen both sides. I just hope they can work it out," but the damage was done. His attempt to stay in the middle looked like cowardice to fans who demanded he pick a side. The first official court date was set within weeks. The producers couldn't resist. This wasn't just a legal matter, it was ratings gold. The courthouse steps turned into a red carpet for paparazzi, cameras flashing as Scrappy arrived with his lawyer, dressed in a sharp black suit, his face serious, no chains, no smile, just silence. He looked like a man ready for war. Minutes later, Kirk pulled up with Rasheeda at his side. Kirk tried to look calm, but the sweat on his forehead betrayed him. Rasheeda clutched his arm tighter than usual, her loyalty unshaken but her eyes heavy. Like she was carrying the weight of every rumor, every receipt, every headline that had haunted their marriage. Inside the courtroom, the air was electric. Producers sat in the back, cameras hidden but ready. Bloggers filled the gallery, typing updates into their phones, their headlines already half-written. Fans lined up outside just to catch a glimpse, their chants echoing down the halls. And in the middle of it all, Scrappy and Kirk sat at opposite tables, eyes locked, but lips sealed. The judge entered, stern and unimpressed by the spectacle. His gavel slammed, silencing the whispers. "This is not VH1, he barked. "This is not entertainment. This is a court of law." The words cut through the air, making even the producers shift uncomfortably. The case was read aloud. Scrappy versus Kirk Frost. Charges, assault and battery. The words alone sent shivers through the room. For years, these men had traded insults, thrown shade, even fists. But this time, it was on record. This time, there would be consequences. Scrappy's lawyer rose first, his tone calm but forceful. Your Honor, my client was hospitalized after being physically assaulted by Mr. Frost. This is not just about a fight on television. This is about accountability, about safety, about a man who has been repeatedly humiliated, disrespected, and finally endangered by someone who thinks his status makes him untouchable. The words landed heavy. Cameras clicked. Fans outside screamed when the quotes hit Twitter. Kirk's lawyer stood, his voice smoother, trying to spin it. Your Honor, what happened was a misunderstanding, a heated exchange blown out of proportion by cameras and editing. This was not an assault. This was reality television, manufactured drama for ratings. My client is not a criminal. He is a husband, a father, a businessman. This case has no merit. But as Kirk sat there, stiff and silent, the whispers in the room told a different story. People remembered his history. They remembered Jasmine. They remembered Rasheeda crying on camera. They remembered the scandals. Kirk wasn't just fighting Scrappy. He was fighting his reputation, and that battle was already slipping away. Scrappy never looked away from him. He sat with his hands folded, his jaw tight, his eyes burning with quiet fire. And when the judge finally spoke, the weight of his words shook the room. This case has enough evidence to proceed to trial. Both parties will prepare for testimony. The gavel slammed and the courtroom erupted. Gasps, shouts, camera flashes. Rasheeda's eyes filled with tears. Jock muttered under his breath, "Damn, this real now?" Yandy and Mendeecees exchanged a glance, their faces grim. And in the middle of the chaos, a familiar voice rang out from the back. Tasha K. Dressed in a bold red blazer, her phone in hand, her smirk undeniable, she stood and raised her voice just loud enough for everyone to hear. "Don't worry, y'all. I got the real receipts. This trial? It's about to get real messy." The courtroom turned, heads snapping, cameras flashing again. The bailiff told her to sit down, but the damage was done. The name Tasha K was already trending before the judge left the room. Scrappy tightened his jaw. Kirk's face drained of color. Rasheeda whispered, "Oh my God." And the story shifted once. Again, from hospital beds to courtrooms to the one woman who could turn everything upside down with a single leak. The morning of the hearing looked more like a movie premiere than a legal proceeding. Paparazzi crowded the courthouse steps. Fans lined the sidewalks holding signs that read, "Justice for Scrappy," while others shouted, "Free Kirk!" The noise outside echoed through the halls, and even the judge's clerks whispered that they'd never seen anything like this. This wasn't just a case. It was Atlanta's biggest reality TV saga playing out under oath. Scrappy arrived first, walking with steady determination. His black suit was sharp, his face calm, but his eyes spoke volumes. No chains, no entourage, no theatrics, just a man carrying the weight of betrayal and pain. Behind him walked his lawyer, briefcase in hand, looking ready to slice through any excuse Kirk might throw out. Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris sat quietly in the gallery, their presence loud enough to show whose side they were on. Yandy clutched her phone, ready to post updates but also bracing for the storm. Minutes later, Kirk Frost entered with Rasheeda. He wore his usual calm mask, but the cameras caught the sweat at his temples. Rasheeda held his hand tightly, her face unreadable, though the heaviness in her eyes betrayed the storm brewing inside her. Her loyalty was intact, but the whispers around her cut deep, everyone questioning why she still defended a man who had dragged her through scandal after scandal. Kirk tried to smirk for the cameras, but inside he knew this wasn't VH1, this wasn't editing, this wasn't a reunion he could control. This wasn't a reunion he could control. The judge entered, slamming the gavel. "This is not a spectacle. This is a court of law. Let's begin." His voice boomed, silencing the whispers. Scrappy's lawyer stood first. "Your Honor, my client ended up in the hospital after being shoved and attacked by Mr. Frost. This isn't just a reality TV moment. This is about safety, accountability, and consequences. Scrappy has carried this feud for years, but this time it nearly cost him his life." He pointed toward Scrappy, who sat motionless, his jaw tight. Kirk's lawyer shot back, his tone smooth. "Your Honor, this was nothing more than heated words dramatized for TV. My client is no criminal. This is a family man, a husband, a father, and what happened was blown out of proportion by cameras desperate for ratings." Scrappy knew what he was signing up for. The words made Rasheeda nod, but her grip on Kirk's hand tightened like she was trying to convince herself as much as the court. Then came the testimonies. Scrappy took the stand first. His voice was low but steady, his hands folded on his lap. I've been in fights before. I done lived through drama. But this was different. I wasn't on no set, I wasn't acting. Kirk pushed me so hard I lost my breath. I couldn't move. Next thing I know, I'm on a stretcher. And the craziest part? All I ever wanted was for this group to get along. But I almost paid with my life. His words cracked at the end, his eyes glassy but his pride refusing to let tears fall. The gallery gasped, fans outside screamed when updates hit Twitter, and even the judge shifted uncomfortably. Kirk took the stand next. His tone was defensive, his voice louder than needed. Look, I ain't put nobody in the hospital. Yeah, we argued, yeah, I shoved him, but we've been doing this for years. It's part of the show. It's part of the culture. If Scrappy say he almost died, that's exaggeration. That ain't me. He tried to sound calm, but his words came out like excuses. Scrappy stared at him coldly, his lips pressed tight. Rasheeda's face stayed stone-like, but the twitch in her jaw said she knew the room wasn't buying it. Then the door slammed open, and chaos followed. Tasha K stormed in wearing a bold red blazer, folder in hand, phone recording like she was live streaming. The bailiff tried to stop her, but the judge sighed, already recognizing the name. She sat in the back, smirking, her voice carrying over the silence. Don't worry, Your Honor, I got receipts that'll show exactly what happened that night. Unseen footage. Text messages. The truth y'all ain't ready for. The room froze. Yandy rolled her eyes, muttering, "Of course." Mendeecees shook his head, whispering, "Here we go." Rasheeda turned pale, clutching Kirk's arm tighter. Kirk's eyes widened just enough to betray his panic, though he tried to play it cool. Scrappy tilted his head, half-smirked, and said quietly, "Drop it then." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Miss K, this is not a circus. If you have evidence, submit it properly." But Tasha wasn't backing down. She waved the folder in the air, her nails clicking against the paper. "Oh, I'll submit it. But I'll also drop it online if y'all play with me." VH1 wanted drama? They ain't seen nothing yet. The gallery erupted, bloggers typing furiously. Hashtags spiking within minutes. Outside the courthouse, fans screamed louder as word spread that Tasha had secret footage. Reporters huddled. Headlines drafted, "Tasha K could sink Kirk Frost in court." The noise outside shook the building, and inside, the judge finally ordered a recess. In the hallway, cameras caught the cast exploding. Yandy confronted Kirk. "This is what I've been saying. You the problem. You keep acting like you untouchable, and now look. Scrappy in a hospital, and Tasha K about to expose you. You destroying everybody around you." Mendeecees stood behind her, nodding, his arms folded, his glare cutting through Kirk. Kirk tried to fire back, but Rasheeda dragged him aside, whispering fiercely, "Stop talking before you make it worse." Scrappy stood in the corner, quiet, his arms folded. His lawyer leaned in, telling him they had enough to push for trial. Scrappy didn't answer. He just stared at Kirk with the coldness of a man who'd already decided this fight wasn't ending in fists. It was ending in a verdict. As the cast scattered into corners, the cameras zoomed in on Tasha K, sipping from her water bottle, her smirk widening. This trial? It's just the beginning. Wait till y'all see what's on camera too. When court reconvened, the atmosphere was electric. Fans outside had turned the courthouse into a circus, their chants echoing so loudly the judge had to order the bailiffs to close every window. Hashtags were still trending. Watcher Scrappy vs. Kirk, watch Tasha K receipts, LHHATL trial. Reporters swarmed, microphones waiting for sound bites, blogs posting minute-by-minute updates. This wasn't just a trial anymore. It was a national spectacle. Inside, Scrappy sat still, his suit sharp, his eyes burning with resolve. He didn't fidget, didn't smile, didn't blink at the cameras. Every move was intentional. He wanted the world to see a man who wasn't backing down. Across the aisle, Kirk Frost shifted nervously, his pride still intact but his body betraying him. His jaw clenched, his eyes darted, and Rasheeda sat beside him, gripping his arm like she was holding him together with her bare hands. The judge called order, and all eyes turned to Tasha K as she walked confidently to the witness stand, folder in one hand, phone in the other. The room buzzed as if lightning had struck. Her smirk was steady, her tone bold. "Your Honor, what I have is more than gossip. This is evidence. Footage from the night of the fight. Camera 2. The angle no one else has seen." She opened the folder and slid a USB stick across the table. Screens lit up and suddenly, grainy but clear footage appeared. The courtroom gasped. The video showed Kirk not just shoving Scrappy, but taunting him, leaning in, whispering insults before throwing the push that sent him stumbling. It also captured Rasheeda pleading in the background, "Kirk, stop!" and Jock trying weakly to intervene. The angle was damning. This wasn't TV editing. This was raw, uncut truth. The gallery erupted. Bloggers typed furiously. Fans outside screamed as word leaked. Scrappy's jaw tightened, but a flicker of relief crossed his eyes. Validation at last. Kirk's face drained of color, his bravado cracking. He whispered harshly to Rasheeda, "How the hell she get that?" Rasheeda shook her head, tears brimming, whispering back, "I told you this was too much." The judge's gavel slammed. "Quiet in this courtroom!" His voice thundered, but even he couldn't hide the weight of what he'd just seen. This footage clearly shows aggression. This will be taken into account. Then came the testimonies. Young Jock was called to the stand, his usual humor stripped away. He squirmed in his seat, eyes darting between Scrappy and Kirk. "Man, I was there. I seen it go down." Kirk did shove him hard. "I tried to break it up, but it was too late." His voice wavered. "I ain't want to pick sides, but Scrappy ended up in the hospital." "That ain't TV drama, that was real." His words sealed it. Jock's loyalty to both men crumbled under the weight of truth. Rasheeda was next, and for the first time her mask cracked. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she spoke. "I've been standing by my husband for years. Through everything. But that night, I begged him to stop. I knew it was going too far, and now, we here." The gallery fell silent, the air heavy. For years, Rasheeda had defended Kirk no matter what, but in that moment, even she couldn't deny what the world had just seen. Finally, the judge delivered the ruling. His voice was stern, his eyes fixed on Kirk. "Mr. Frost, the evidence and testimony are clear. You are guilty of assault. This court sentences you to probation, mandatory anger management classes, and a fine to be paid to Mr. Scrappy for damages. Any further violent incidents will result in harsher penalties." The gavel slammed and the courtroom erupted once more. Scrappy exhaled deeply, his shoulders loosening as the weight lifted. He turned to face Kirk, his voice low but cutting. "This ain't just about me. This about all the years you thought you could play with people's lives. Not anymore. You got checked today, and it wasn't by me, it was by the truth." Kirk stood stiff, his pride shattered. He tried to smirk, but his eyes betrayed rage. As cameras followed him out, he snapped at reporters. "This ain't over! Y'all think he won, but I'ma show y'all who really runs this city." His words echoed like a threat, his pride bleeding into the microphones. Outside, fans screamed as Scrappy emerged. Reporters shoved microphones in his face, asking how he felt. He simply said, "I just want peace. I'm done with the drama. Let the truth speak for itself." His calmness carried more weight than any outburst ever could. In the back corner, Tasha K smirked, phone raised as she recorded herself. Another day, another receipt. And guess what? There's still more y'all ain't seen yet. Her words sent another shockwave through the crowd, hinting at more chaos to come. The episode ended with Kirk storming off, Rasheeda trailing behind in tears, Scrappy standing strong, and Tasha waving her phone like a weapon. The feud had moved from reunion stages to hospital beds to courtrooms, but even with a verdict, it was far from over. But even with a verdict, it was far from over.